Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? Brown and Orange
Yo,
Weekly back at you again. My man, Dean is here with us again. Still
yeah.
fighting through this, still fighting that good fight through the internet issue.
I feel like this is going to be a first.
uh, and of course, with me as always now, the Fritz, James L. Fritz.
The man.
Thanks for having
That's
me,
right.
guys.
Yeah, we're running a 3-man
That's
booth
always
till further notice.
Yeah, hey, 2-game win streak off that.
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
And we'll
Let's
take
keep
it.
going.
That's right. Browns coming off a win on Sunday.
A nail
Just yeah,
biter.
yeah. Wild win. Wasn't I remember we spoke last week. What you say, Dean?
It was a wild one.
Yeah. I remember saying last week when we talked, I was like, I feel like this is going to be a similar to the Titans game, and boy, was I wrong. Um,
Yeah,
our man,
we're all wrong.
yeah, our guy Gardner Minshew out here, looking like the second coming of Steve Young for a second.
He looked good.
He looked-
Man. He looked good.
I mean, yeah, against our defense, for him to go 15 to 23, 305 yards, 2 TDs. He had a pick, sacked 4 times, but quarterback rating of 119.4. I mean, who called that?
not
Nobody.
this guy.
No, nobody.
Dean, you have that one?
Yep.
I mean, we talked about him before being kind of like I don't know, what was it, a Ryan Tannehill light or something like that we were calling him?
Yeah.
Or maybe it wasn't. No, I'm sorry. I think it was Ryan. It was
Fitzpatrick.
light.
Fitzpatrick.
Where he can come in there and just surprise the hell out of you. And he definitely surprised our defense with a few plays. And, we had the one touchdown pass that the Browns D gave up where we kind of got tangled up in the secondary. They got a lot of yak after that on that touchdown pass, but it's a Pittman. But, I think for the most part, the defense, once again, tells the story of our success this week.
Myles Garrett was an absolute freak.
Just out of control.
I still, if he just hurdled over that line like that and just immediately jumped up and blocked that.
I feel like that is like Miles has had a lot of good games for the Browns, but I kind of feel like that is like the defining game of his Browns career. Like in my eyes, that's one that I'm trying to remember a game he played better than that. I mean, he's had some Steelers games, but nothing where he's jumping over, entire lines and just doing all kinds of freakish activity like that.
I was in a pod last night, and shout out to Lysandra. She mentioned about box jumps. Reminds me of videos of him doing box jumps, and for him to be able to, jump over top of the center like that was incredible.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're too big to be doing some shit like that. That's impressive.
The only thing is, now that they got that on tape, every special team coach and center or snapper in the league is going to be watching for that. So if he does it again this year, I will blow my mind because he's going to try at some point.
I'll wait for some center to try to watch for it to stand up and try to do something,
trip him
try
up,
to hurt him or something.
You know what that reminded me of? That was either LT or Derek Thomas in Super Tecmo Bowl when you used to go block all the field goals and block the extra points when you split the gap, except Myles went right over top.
Yep. Yeah, that was wild.
And the incredible play in the end zone for the hit and the strip sack on the quarterback. Free for a touchdown. They had him while they were supposed to have him double teamed on that side, and he got around both guys hit Minshew and cause that fumble to keep points off the scoreboard with the blocked field goal, and then add points to the scoreboard with Fields recovering that fumble in the end zone. So shout out to Myles. I mean, he's had a hell of a week.
Yeah, the new Myles Garrett, super freak on the field, and now the official minority owner of our Cleveland Cavaliers.
Which I didn't know that you mentioned that. I love that.
Yeah, man. Like we were saying before, I just hope he doesn't go the way of Usher. He's around for the good times, but when things get bad, you don't see him.
He's still a minority owner.
That's a great question. You know what?
I'd like to know that.
I'm about to look it up right now.
Oh, I was going to text you. My bad.
I bet you he probably sold his stock as soon as LeBron left in 2010.
I haven't seen him in a game forever.
He's like, watch this.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. Watch me sell. But no, Myles Garrett, AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Hopkins, Special Teams Player of the Week.
Nailing 50 like it's nothing.
It's twice this year that they've both got that award. With Myles, I love his interest in the Cavs, the interest in the city of Cleveland. I think this will carry him on through his career, but also after his career. I hope. I heard on sports radio today a great tape. Somebody said that feels like Joe Thomas. That he's going to stick around after his career, love the city, get back to the city, and represent us well. So hopefully this is maybe you guys tell me. I think everybody outside the Cleveland Browns Stadium is in the Hall of Fame and has won a championship for the Browns as far as statues go. So do you guys foresee Myles getting not only a statue, but the biggest damn statue outside of that stadium?
I do see it.
You're splitting on us, Dean.
Is it?
And that's better.
Come on. Can't catch a break.
Just talk right there and don't move.
Some trash.
Might have to YouTube some sign language for next week's episode.
Right.
I still can't believe someone earlier in Myles' ran up on him and punched him in the face. That's
wild.
First off, what an idiot. He's lucky Myles didn't destroy him.
As of the from People Magazine, January 2023, it says Usher is still a part owner of the Cavs. So it says it is unclear how much of the team he owns today, but he bought a minority stake in 2005 for around $9 million. And it says he is still listed on Sportskeeda. It says he is still listed as a minority owner on the team's website. So,
speaking of the Cavs, I just noticed that Boobie Gibson is an assistant coach for the Cleveland Charge.
Sure is.
I had no idea.
Hey, I didn't know that until I saw the graphic. Yeah, I didn't know that until I saw the graphic either.
I was like, no way.
Good for him. That's great. It's great for the city, great for the team. Helped us get to an NBA Finals.
Right. Boobie was the first. I guess technically you could call him LeBron's first Robin, more or less. Well, he's playing the role of Batman.
As far as playing off the ball and shooting the three. Wait a minute. What happened? We're going into the Cavs because the Cavs start tonight.
Right. They're up 24-15 as we watch, y'all. Yeah.
I would kind of say Mo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, for Mo to get an all-star appearance next to LeBron.
Remember, Booby shot us to the finals though. That boy was on fire.
Right.
On fire in 07.
And then that fire
Speaking
went
of
out.
fire, what's going on in that shoulder of Deshaun Watson's? Since today they came out and announced that he's out versus the Seattle game. So what have you guys heard, and what do you guys think on that?
Go ahead, Dean.
I'm starting to think it's mental, man. I think he's having a mental block. I don't know if he's worried about himself or he's dead. Listen to critics. You got Brady Quinn calling him a trust baby. It's just he's kind of like man, who am I? I'm trying to reference the guy. Basketball. The best.
Who you say?
He's kind of remind me like how Ben Simmons is, man. He was like really, really good, and then he's having like this mental block, dude. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he's listening to the critics and he's just disappointed in his play of recent, but I don't know what to take of this, man. It's frustrating. It's puzzling. We spent $230 million on this dude, and it's like, what are we getting from him?
All right. So, as I've said on this podcast a million times, you know what? I've always had this thought in the back of my mind that, you know what? He's not going to get back to the guy that he was. Beginning of this season, though, I had washed all that out of my mind. But now, not that I'm having doubts, but something's not right, man. Something's not right. Something's going on where this guy, they came out and said 3 weeks ago after the bye, oh, he'll be ready to go after the bye. We get past the bye, he ain't ready. Then they say he's going to be ready the game after that. He ain't ready. Then they say, oh, he should be able to play against Seattle. He's not ready. What the hell is going on? Like, something is. I don't know if this franchise just doesn't know how to handle a quarterback with shoulder issues, because this is the second time we've been dealing with bullshit like this. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Like they need to figure out what's going on, and if this dude is hurt, like I think part of it is they don't want to. I'll say it. I don't care. I think Stefanski watched last week, saw him throw 2 picks in 5 passes, and those 2 picks were awful. And he yanked him. That's really what I think happened. Which kind of annoyed the hell out of me, because why didn't he do that with Baker? But that's a whole nother story.
I think this is where that boils down to. He doesn't want to get the backlash he got from Baker. Because he got a lot of shit for Baker. He should have sat Baker earlier in the year when the injury started. And I think he's just being and doesn't want to go through that and get that type of heat. So he's being cautious. I think that plays a role in it too. He's just like, nope, you're not ready. I know you want to be out there, but I'm not. We can risk it.
And I don't think, like, when we had the Baker situation, we were watching and we're like, man, he's just he's hurting the team. Where now I think we're looking backwards and we're going, all right, at least he played through it. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's fair. But when we look back at it, you had Case Keenum. Wasn't he the highest paid backup in the league at the time? A dude
sure was.
He's won playoff games. He's won freaking playoff games, and I'm surprised that they did not put Baker on the bench. And I know it was his contract year too, so he's trying to do everything he can to prove himself and get out there, because it knew it would cost him money. But you know, I really think back then, you look at it, it's like we should have probably sat Baker and played Keenum. Right now, we'd take Case Keenum, wouldn't we?
Oh, heartbeat. Yeah, heartbeat. Well, that
are 2-0 with PJ Walker. He hasn't looked the greatest, but I mean, we're 2-0 with him. You know what I'm saying? I am if we end up putting him on the IR, which is a scare to me. I think if it continues to get worse and he's not ready, I think they might just throw him on there, miss 4 games, and hopefully continue to win and have him back fully healthy by the time for a deep playoff push. But I don't know.
I'm not okay with IR. I'm not okay with IR though at this point. I think
I hope
I'm right here because, as I was saying, the start stop is becoming very maddening. It's 6 games, then wait a whole entire offseason, then 3 games, then we got to wait, a week, and then we got to wait through the bye week, and then he's not there again. Like, I feel like if you sit out after you sit out for damn near 2 years, you got to come back in and you got to play games in a row to get back in some kind of rhythm. You're not playing against air anymore. You're not playing against practice where they can't hit you. You're in live action, and you need those live action reps to get back into some kind of like just normal athletic rhythm, I would think, after sitting for 2 years. And he's not getting the opportunity to do that because of the suspension last year and the injuries this year. So at this point, he sits this week. If he doesn't play next week, like, I'm not really sure what the Browns do, but I'm almost to the point where, and I'm going to ask you fellas how you feel. Do they need to make a deal? Do they need to make a trade? Because it's clear that this team is fairly set up to win something. So are we going to, all this time while Baker was on the field and, playing injured and everybody's bitching, we can't waste another season of Myles. We can't waste another season of Ward. We can't waste another season. Well, we've beefed up the defense, and now we are waiting for a QB that is injured who is supposed to make everything right. So I'll pose it to you guys. Is it time to go after a backup like a Jacoby? Or I've even heard people talk about bringing in Cousins, which, I mean, I'd rather bring in Jacoby. Yeah, they'd have to give up something. Go ahead, Dean.
There's really not that many options out there, and what do we have to give?
That's another thing. Like, we got a lot wrapped up in the guy who's hurt, so a lot of assets wrapped up. So what do we do?
Well, you're going to overpay regardless. Whether it's Jacoby Brissett, which I know Mary Kay Cabot reported is likely that we could pry from the Commanders. Hell, with Magic Johnson being there, I'm sure he'd love to have draft pick, even though I'm sure he loves Jacoby Brissett's leadership and being able to help mentor a young quarterback. But I think he'd still take that draft pick any day of the week. But we definitely have to do something. This 2-0 with PJ Walker is fool's gold. That's all I'm saying. They're
not to be slept on. They're team.
No, I mean, West Coast games are tough. Look at San Francisco traveling to, East Coast time zone and what we did to them. Of course, we had a bye week before that, but this 2-0. It's nice. We don't want to really complain, and I have nothing against PJ Walker, the guy that battled to just continue to play his football career, go to the XFL, continue to keep playing, get his shot in the NFL, get some games with Carolina. Now he's helping us right now, so I thank him for that. I applaud him for that. However, as we go against better teams, and I know San Francisco was on fire, could have been, considered Super Bowl the favorite for Super Bowl champion at the time, and I felt that way too. Hell of a team, but we need, we're going to need better quarterback play against the Mahomes. The way the Dolphins are playing on offense too, we can't risk making the playoffs and then going, all right, PJ, what are we going to do? I don't care. His stats don't say, other than the 2-0, his stats don't say that's what's best for this offense and this franchise going forward.
What free agent quarterbacks are out? Is Carson Wentz scratching anybody?
Yeah, I heard he's out there. I want no parts of Carson Wentz. I want no parts of Carson Wentz.
Out there, like as far as free agents. I'm not able to pull up a list, but
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Peyton Manning.
Matt Ryan to come back up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't have
Matt Ryan.
honestly, I don't have anything against Wentz. After what I saw, recently in the last few years that he was around with the Colts, I mean, he did struggle, but I mean, we need some experience back there. And Jacoby Brissett, his stats looked pretty good last year. Not necessarily what was it record wise? What were we 7-8 with him? I think before the change to Watson.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Everyone.
If we were to trade for Jacoby, like, what do we trade for him?
5th?
Like a late, yeah, that's what I was thinking. A 5th, 6th round draft pick.
I think they're gonna want higher than that, though.
Probably, but here's the other thing too. Like we are seeing how important the backup quarterback position is across the league. Now Washington's starting Sam Howell, who's a young kid. He hasn't proven anything yet. Are they going to want to give up Jacoby just in case Howell goes down? I mean, not like they're world beaters right now, but again, they're watching us. With PJ Walker and DTR, and granted we got to see Minshew put on a decent game, but it's almost becoming that the backup quarterback is damn near one of the more important parts of the team. So do you think Washington gives up Brissett at all?
I do, because they're basically where they're going to finish, and the quarterbacks that are going to be in the draft, they're going to be looking at drafting a young quarterback next April.
Yeah. They'll give him up if the price is right.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe a 3rd round pick is what they're probably looking for.
That the Washington Commanders know that they're desperate, so they're going to try to use that as leverage, something more than what he's actually.
If I had to guess, I'd say we already did reach out, and they set the bar high, and we might be playing the waiting game.
So does So let's look at the free agents. Does Colt McCoy, does bringing him back tickle y'all's fancy?
Yeah. Oh.
I'm looking for anybody that's got experience that can manage the game and not turn the ball over. And the one thing I would like to see is at least what Baker did. It seemed like Baker would start falling in love with some receivers, right? When he get hot with Njoku, he'd start throwing to Donovan Peoples-Jones, which, yes, he's still in Cleveland, everybody, in case anybody's looking for him.
Barely even throwing to Njoku. Shit, we didn't even throw to Cooper in the first half last week, I don't think.
Sure didn't. Yeah, and I think that's the most frustrating part of this whole thing, is that we're able to see our defense as a whole kind of go out there and do their thing. We have no idea how good this offense or bad this offense is, because we've only seen it in full function really once.
Right. We're barely using anybody, really.
Yeah, and we've been talking so much about the quarterback. We got Jerome Ford out now 1 to 2 weeks with the high ankle sprain, which means more carries for Kareem Hunt, which doesn't sound like a bad thing. Said he's starting to get back in game shape. 2 touchdowns last week, game winner at the goal line. So more Kareem Hunt, I think, is going to be good for this offense.
I like the way that Strong looked. I like the way Strong looked. What do you want to think about him?
I do too.
They better get him off special teams, because he's going to be our running back number 2 now. So we're going to need all the healthy backs we can get.
Are you?
Do we think? I'm not. I'll put it this way: I'm not in full panic mode, But I'm bothered, man. I'm really, really bothered because I feel like we're in the same spot that we're always in as Browns fans. Like we've got this Ferrari. Ferrari been sitting in the garage for 2 years. We pull it out, put it through its paces. We're like, you know what? We have one real good day where we're doing the $150 down the highway, doing wild. Head out the window, everything is lovely, and all of a sudden we get back and all right, well, it looks like we got some pistons or something, busted in here. Let's take a look. We put it to the side and we're like, oh, we should be able to get back, in the next couple of weeks. We should get these parts fixed and they ain't ready. Parts ain't ready for 1 week. Parts ain't ready again. So when do we get to put the Ferrari back on the field so we can see what it really is? So I'm not in full blown panic mode, but I'm also growing impatient. That's kind of how I feel? How y'all are either one of y'all in I wouldn't say full blown panic mode, but either one of y'all getting impatient like I am?
I think it's impatience week to week for all of us because we just want to see some stability. You have Jim Schwartz comes in here and affects this team much, much more than in the first 6 games than Stefanski has in the 4 years he's been here with the offense.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he finished 11-5 that first year. Got COVID. He didn't get to be on the sideline for the win in Pittsburgh for the playoffs, but I need to see more out of him. I need to see him getting the most out of the ability of what we have on offense. Like our receivers, man, other than Cooper being Cooper. In other words, Cooper is being what Cooper was before he even came to Cleveland, right? At least. He's showing up. He's trying to be that number one that we know that I don't think either of us want him as our number one, but we accept he's our number one for right now because nobody else is separating themselves to even be that top number 2. They're trying to force feed Elijah Moore to us, and nobody's buying into that. All that offseason stuff about how good our offense was going to be and making us feel like that Ferrari you're talking about, like we're going to run with the Kansas City Chiefs or even what the Dolphins are doing or what Buffalo was doing before the season started. I know Buffalo's had some struggles this year, but we don't even resemble any of that. None. Of that. The consistency is not there because the quarterback position, we're just a reflection of what the quarterback position is, which is instability. And we have to find that. And Jacoby Brissett is the short-term fix to that because he knows the offense, he knows the guys, many of the guys, and I think the camaraderie and the respect that he had in that locker room could go a long way. And the defense is playing like, hey, we don't really even care who's back there, but if they had Jacoby there, and he was, he's not even in my top 10 list of Browns quarterbacks of all time, but still. How does the locker room and his teammates accept him is what's so important. And if we can make that happen, I think we need to do it.
Dean, you impatient or where you at?
I'm kind of right there with James. I agree with the whole Jacoby Brissett. He's not one of the greatest, but the way he had that team rally around him, they believed in him, they had his back. He fought hard, and the team noticed that. They loved him. And if we can do that, if that's what we need to do, then let's do it. But I don't know.
Which makes me wonder, why did we get rid of him in the first place?
Honestly,
we didn't use Case Keenum. And then we do use Brissett. And then Watson comes back, does what he's paid to do, right? Try to get himself right. But struggled big time. And then with that layoff, I understand. I'll respect that. But this is a new year. He had the off season. They were all out on the beach, working out together, trying to get their timing together during the off season. And it just hasn't translated during games to success. And I know his shoulder hurts, but man, I can, if you listen real closely, you can hear the Cleveland Monsters hockey team just laughing like, what? Your shoulder? Yeah, we're hockey players. We're still going to play. Jose Ramirez last year playing with a broken hand most of the second half of the season. So, I mean, I get it. I hurt my shoulder too. My senior year in football, and my tight ends coach, he was on the 68 national title team, played for Woody Hayes. So he was old school, wanted you to play through it. Water makes you weak type kind of coach. And I remember driving, we'd hit that sled as a team because I played tight end. And we would hit that. He would call out the shoulder of what we're hitting, right shoulder, left shoulder. And it was my right shoulder. And man, I hurt it bad. And all I wanted to do was switch to my left shoulder. I wanted to keep going and keep practicing, but I wanted to switch to my left shoulder because I knew I screwed the right one up. Well, by the end of the week, I couldn't even get my arm up like this. It was about that far, maybe halfway. I ended up going to the doctor. I had to sit out for a week, but I only sat out for a week. But honestly, I can't say it's never been right since. Never had to have surgery, but I don't know. So yeah, I mean, you do have to protect yourself, but man, you guys are football players. I don't know how you can't just want to be out there, like Hanford Dixon said. You want to play, and guys want you out there.
Pissed off. He looked pissed off on the sidelines. You could tell he wanted to come back in. Stefanski wasn't having it.
But do we think that Stefanski wasn't having it because he knew I feel like Stefanski yanked him because he knew he wasn't going to help us win. I feel that was more of a benching than anything, because you did hear him say, he said if something happened to PJ Walker, Watson was the backup. Yeah. So I almost feel like that was just a straight benching.
Like if you say in baseball, sometimes
I thought
pull him out.
Yeah, I thought it was concussion right off the bat when he didn't get up off the field. When he hit his head, I thought for sure he was out just simply because of that.
He kind of when he did that and they put him on the sideline and they showed him, he kind of looked like he was out of it.
I'm sure that you don't hit your head on the ground like that and not, you can perfectly fine.
Something he wasn't all there for a moment there, but then after the second half, he's just sitting there pissed off. He still had his help, which I was surprised they didn't have DTR wasn't dressed. Like, what if PJ went down? Like
they said if PJ went down, Watson was going back in the game. He became the backup at that point, which to me just leads me to think, okay, he got yanked.
Yeah.
He got yanked. Like that first pass he threw was not good. That was that like 7-yard pass that he tried to throw the running back that went straight to the dirt. The 2 interceptions were god awful. Like there was nobody close to those.
No.
I mean, I think that's a fair statement, Clarence. That imagine how we feel as Browns fans, and we try to stick up for our team and our players, but I think you're right about with probably just Stefanski's probably just had it, so to speak. Like, hey, man, we've all had that coworker. It's like they got to show up today, right? And then all right, they called off. Yep. Oh, hey, it's nice that you showed up the next day. How you doing? How you feeling? You back? I mean, we've all had that guy, and it's probably kind of feeling like that a little bit. Is he going to practice? Is he not practice? Is he rehabbing? What's going on?
Right.
And so as far as us being impatient, I'm sure the team, probably saying the right things in front of the media, but it's got to be frustrating and just being on that team. Who the hell is my quarterback going to be?
Yeah, man. Oh, this is the most. We're 4-2, right? We're 4-2, right?
Hold on, let me check.
This does not feel like 4-2.
No.
Or this feels like 4-2. Or actually, what this feels like? This feels like 7-4 with Brian Hoyer at the helm.
I feel different than that. I felt
You said
good
what?
back then. I feel different than that because I felt pretty good about that.
You know what? When I watched Hoyer play, he did all right those first few weeks, but you could tell like we were winning kind of in spite of him, because he wasn't playing that great. Those last few games before they made the just fatal mistake of yanking him for Johnny. But I just feel like I feel very uneasy for what you say?
He made that slide and got hurt.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
You said we're 4-2, but you know who doesn't think we're 4-2 is Colts owner Jim Irsay. He said the
Yeah, you can kiss my ass.
He said the NFL admits and understands that they did not make the correct calls at the end of Sunday's Colts-Browns game. I believe we need to institute instant replay for all calls, including penalties, in the last 2 minutes of all games.
All right,
that means the game will be over by 6 o'clock.
8.
That pass interference in the end zone, that ball was not catchable. I don't care who the hell you are.
Oh, no.
If you're Calvin Johnson, you ain't making that catch.
Giannis ain't catching that.
No.
But, oh well.
Yep, we won.
How many
times did we get screwed over by officiating? You know what? It was our turn. We got it.
The only thing that was missing was Bottlegate for the Colts.
Well, that's what I was saying.
They could have been throwing shit on the field.
Even with the Colts, that wasn't even as egregious. Like, yeah, it was clearly uncatchable, but that wasn't even like Bottlegate. Like, we've been told our entire life, once you run the play, that previous play cannot be reviewed. We heard that. They drilled that into our minds, and then they're gonna come out and do exactly what they said you couldn't do. So that's where we start at. Jim Irsay, when you got a Bottlegate type incident to happen, holler at us. Until then, kick rocks. Kick rocks. Yeah, I got no sympathy for anybody complaining about that call. Again, look at our last 20 years. We done lost games in the most miraculous of fashions. Referees been screwing us for years. We get like one good call. We get one good call a year. We used it up last year in the opener, so we didn't have to lose to Baker because the referees gave us a few then. This year, it just happened against the Colts. I do not expect the referees to be on our side for the rest of the year at all, whatsoever. We got ours.
Oh, it's going to start in Seattle. You know it. We're going to be talking about that next week. Win or lose,
we're going to be.
We can talk. There's going to be some calls that we don't get. You can guarantee that going into next week.
First drive, I guarantee you, is going to be some fuckery.
Yes, great. Super Bowl defense. Dustin Hopkins is kicking out of his mind. I know when we first signed him, that was the thing, was about his history of kicks over 50 yards. He's killing the 50-yarders.
Killing them.
The offense with the offense, and we're just getting by on the skin of our teeth with these victories. I don't want to be winning just because of some calls. I don't want to be winning just because they missed a field goal with the San Francisco game. I want to win because we won the football game like we did against Tennessee, like we did against Cincinnati. We need some statement games like that, and I don't know that we're going to be able to get that based on our quarterback play. And I do know that we need to accept and that we're going to have to win in different ways. The way we did this last week, 39. Nobody had 39-38.
Hell no.
Not even close. With two backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't remember what I predicted, but I don't think I predicted 39 points between the two teams combined.
I had a crazy 7-leg parlay. $10 would have gave me $35,000. I hit David Njoku touchdown. Cooper needed 62.5 yards receiving, and then Watson needed to throw for 220 plus. And
that's a wrap.
Everything else
That's a wrap.
defense touchdown. I had Jonathan Taylor. I was salty. As soon as Watson went out in the first quarter, I'm like, damn it.
Yep. It was a wrap. It was an absolute wrap.
The emotion like keeps going on.
You're right. Let's get to we know PJ's starting. What do we think is gonna happen this week, fellas?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not feeling confident. I feel like we're gonna lose to the Seahawks. This is hard for me to say because I'm not. You know me, Clarence. I don't usually say that word.
I can't remember. I probably can count on one hand the times you predicted the Browns to lose in the last year.
And that was a preseason game, right?
Right.
I'm going to say 21-17 Seahawks.
How do we score?
Hopkins is going to kick the first field goal because we can't get the damn end zone first drive. And then, 2 scores. 1 Kareem Hunt. And then I'm going to go for my Njoku touchdown, damn it. Give me it.
Okay. So, Dean.
I hope I'm wrong.
Done.
I pray to the football guys that I'm wrong. I'm trying to. I just don't feel confident, man. I don't. Seahawks are good. They just signed Frank Clark.
Yeah, I did see that. That's not good. That's not good for us.
No, I seen that today. I'm like,
I mean, Seattle is favored by 3.5 right now. So,
who do you like, Fritz?
4-2 record. They're at home. It's going to be tough going out west. If we win, I think it's going to be. I don't even want to talk about that we're going to lose. I don't want to go through the Hugh Jackson era again. So I'm going to say that it's this game's going to be something between the Niner game and this Colts game. So maybe if we win, it's going to be in that 20s range, maybe low to mid 20s, and we're going to have to contain DK Metcalf. That's probably your top player on both sides of the ball for Seattle, and probably the best offensive player on the field going into Sunday. But yeah, we're going to have to rely on Dustin Hopkins again. We're going to have to rely on that defense. But can Kareem Hunt get 2 more touchdowns? That we're going to need it, I think. So it's just going to have to. We're going to have to grind it, guys. There's no other way around it.
Yeah.
PJ Walker, I don't think is going to show up and all of a sudden put up 250 with 3 touchdowns. If he does, please, I'd love to be the first one to say I'm wrong. But the young man, I don't have faith in what he's going to be able to do to hit all the windows he needs to hit for us to have a strong passing game. So it's going to be all about that run game and that short passing game. Well, I guess we'll find out. I'm not going to give you no final score. I just think it'll be, if we get a win, it's going to be in the 20s. Browns win.
Okay, there you go. All right. So James, the Browns win. By accident. Slip over the
refs gave us one, and then the Niners kicker gave us one. So we're going to have to go out and get this one. We're going to have to earn this one.
I'm not confident. What do you say, Dean?
The defense can't keep bailing us out, man.
And that's my thought. Like the teams know with PJ, especially I'm just going to assume that PJ is going to get better each week. But obviously, there's a ceiling on how much better he can get, or else he already would have been a backup in the league already this year. He's bounced all over the place. He has been a journeyman, but we know like PJ is a backup quarterback practice squad quarterback. I again hope I'm wrong. I just don't see them going out west and winning. I do feel that it's going to be close. I feel like, again, we've kind of talked about the defense is going to keep us in games. And, you know, I don't like every move that Stefanski's made. It's been, well, I've said it is well documented. There was times last week that I really didn't enjoy some of the stuff that he did. That all those goal line plays last week.
I know.
I know. Yeah, I know we didn't have a lot of time on the clock. We were under a minute, but tossing in a run here and there, I wouldn't have minded seeing that.
So obvious that we were doing it too. It's like,
yeah. But I will say this. With PJ Walker starting, they've somehow stitched together an offense. That being said, Browns, I feel like we fall this week, but I'm gonna say 24-17. I hope I'm wrong. I just don't.
That's fair. I don't know what the weather's going to be like too. Hopefully it's good for Hopkins to kick in. This could be another Hopkins game. He's been killing it. And I was thinking about PJ Walker too. You mentioned about him being a practice squad guy. Hell, he wasn't. We had 4 quarterbacks in camp, and he wasn't one of them.
Yep.
Not so you bringing him in, and he doesn't even know the offense that what we had, right?
Yep.
From what Kellen Mond had time, reps in training camp, reps in preseason.
Yep.
So I guess we should look at the same way we brought PJ in, and the reason why PJ is starting is because of his experience as a starter and can be settled down. I'm almost to the point where DTR, it's like I'd rather watch him. I think his growth through struggle has a higher ceiling than what PJ has. So
possibly, but you know that he at this particular point with this team, they don't have time to put him back there to learn. Unfortunately, it sucks, but
yeah, that's why
they
they'll
just
go after the best veteran that they possibly can, because long term PJ is just not the guy. So
agreed.
Go ahead,
Agreed.
go out, PJ. Keep showing us wrong, showing us different, proving us wrong. Go 3-0. I'm all
prove
for
me
it,
wrong.
man. Please
prove
do
me
it.
wrong, PJ.
I mean, I do, like I said, I do respect the guy for what he's did to keep his career going. But for this team to get to the playoffs or win a division, any of that, we know we need an upgrade.
Definitely. James, get your plugs in, man. Get your plugs in. So
follow Guardians of the CLE podcast. Next week, Melanie Kirby, the newly married Melanie Kirby. We will be back doing our Guardians podcast at Guardians OTCLE on X. Start following us there. That's where most of our social media posts are happening, or my own at the Fritz 330, or Mel Kirby's as well. So look for us to be posting videos and start recording pods, doing some off-season guests. If you're a big baseball fan, last year we had a lot of minor league players come on to do interviews, among other people as well. Marco Lanave, the voice of the Akron Rubber Ducks. So I know it's World Series time, and people are kind of tucking baseball away as soon as the World Series is over, but the Guardian CLE podcast will still be up and running through the off season. So check us out.
Yes. Make sure y'all follow Guardians of CLE, like you said. Follow James, follow Mel, follow everything that Believeland Media does. Right now we are killing it on the high school coverage, about to jump into it's playoff time, isn't it?
It is. Week 1 of the high school playoffs start this weekend. Believeland Media will have many people: Marshawn, Derek, Cameron, Mikey. He'll be out. We'll be covering all different games out through Northeast Ohio. So, yeah, just check out Believeland Media. We'll be sharing as much live scoring and highlights as possible. So if you're a high school football fan in Northeast Ohio, please check out our videos, like and subscribe, and go to YouTube and check all of our videos out there as well.
That's right. That's right. Y'all know y'all can follow me. The handle's on the screen at Idaho Anthony. One day I'll get into the story of why that's my handle. A long story.
Yeah, I want to know that story.
Yeah, it's a long story. That's for another podcast.
Sounds good.
But yeah, follow everything Believeland related. Oh, Dean trying to jump back in one more time. Dean, you there?
Yo, I'm here.
You got anything? You got anything you want to tell the people?
I'm just joking. We're gonna win this damn game.
Oh, hey, anybody watching on YouTube? Dean came back on. It was dark. I thought he was at No Energy Stadium where he didn't have any power or something. Now he's got the light on. So we're gonna win now, huh? Who was that guy outside? What was wrong with that guy? This inside guy.
He was on something.
Yeah, inside Dean. I like inside Dean.
Don't listen to that. Browns win 21-17.
There we go.
Boom. Done. Scratch out Seattle. Right Browns. Boom.
Yeah.
It's in pen.
April Fool's.
It is written. It is written, so it shall be done. Dean, you got any plugs? Anything you want to tell these people before we get out of here?
Follow all of us on Believe It Media. We have an amazing crew. They work their asses off. A bunch of talent. Just be good, Browns fans. Keep doing what you do. We love you guys. Follow us, and we'll see you next week.
That's right.
Stay positive.
All I gotta say is, be kind to one another, y'all. Be kind to one another.
Don't be Steelers.
Oh,
Don't be kind.
yeah, yeah, they can kiss my ass too. Well, and I had a word this week too, and I had it written down. And I lost it. Shit. So we'll just say the normal. In the words of the immortal, because that man will live forever.
The greatest
Freddie Kitchens, greatest Tar Heel of all time. If you don't wear brown and orange, you don't matter.
Oof.
Peace.
Arr, arr, arr.